Welcome back, Officers Republic. It's your Coruscant Underworld Police Chief APGAINS here, and I have the State of the Galaxy open in the background, but honestly, this is just background stuff for you guys to stare at while I do what APGAINS does best and be annoying and terrible. So we know Capital Games is pretty far behind in terms of up-to-date content. Normally, they like to have release cadences along with, shows or big things in the Star Wars community as they're going on. And if you go back a couple weeks or even a couple months, you go on any YouTube channel, we're not predicting Inquisitors. We're not predicting an Inquisitor ship as the Conquest character. We're not predicting Star Killer. None of this stuff was what anyone thought was going to happen. We thought we were going to get Mando Season 2, Book of Boba, and stuff like that. And generally, that's how they like to structure their drops. They happen to have a little bit of a lull where they pushed out Star Killer type stuff, and that's awesome. We got some Legends content. We're getting some Inquisitors right now. Are they the best? No, but it's really nice just to have, extra variety. Reach into some old stuff, go back a little bit, and, add some Inquisitors. They're updating ships, which is awesome. I think this is probably going to be a trend that they continue, fleshing out a couple of ships, because, if you flesh out a couple of ships, boom, all of a sudden you can give us, some really terrible way to get another capital ship, and then we gotta spend on the ships, and we get a capital ship, and it's a grind, and you get executor money, and it's awesome. And it leads to good health in the game, having more ships. But the real point I'm trying to make here is why. I guess we know why they're behind. They took a big break. Plus, I don't know. They're just behind on Mando Season 2 and Book of Boba stuff. The question is, when are we going to get that? They've had a bunch of bugs as of late. I was asking around, and I don't really know what the cause of all the bugs are. I made the Bugs Life joke that CG bought the Bugs Life from Disney, since Disney replaced the Bugs Life area at Disneyland with the Cars Land. And now the game is just like going crazy. There's bugs in GAC. And I don't know what it is that's causing that, because I don't know. So I think what I'm leaning towards is, in order for there to be bugs, something has to change, right? If you just leave the code alone, it's not like something bad's going to happen, right? So if there's a GAC bug, potentially they're working on GAC changes. Now, whether that is adapting and potentially improving the matchmaking, the skill-based matchmaking system, as it were, or, figuring out whether they want to bring back banners, replacing defense, or whatever it is, they have to be working around in there somewhere for that bug to exist. In the past, we saw a lot of bugs in light side territory battles with Aayla Secura, Qui-Gon Jinn, and I was always saying this has to mean something, because if you don't touch something that's not broken, it doesn't automatically break unless you do something to it, right? Like if I leave Promiscuous Penguin on my desk, he can't be killed by me during a stream because he's just there on the desk. It's only until I grab Promiscuous Penguin and choke him or shoot him or something or stab him that he then dies again. So, I was saying I was hypothesizing art reworks. We ended up getting the art rework for Mace Windu, Aayla Secura, and then eventually the Qui-Gon Jinn art rework and Omicron, as well as some issues with Zam. So in the past, bugs have meant that they're working on something. Therefore, we can expect a change in the future. And we've seen bugs in Grand Arena. We've seen bugs in Territory Wars. We've seen bugs in Territory Battles. But Territory Battle bugs usually are character-focused. Recently, we've seen, Ewok bugs. But that they did just get a new Omicron, which maybe is messing with the code. Maybe in, Conquest, that they didn't properly place a way for you to... for the game to distinguish between Conquest and Omicron or normal Ewoks. And so maybe that happened, which makes sense. But I'm excited that maybe we can be pushing in the direction of better matchmaking or a change to GAC. We're obviously getting more ships, which is a huge boon for the community. I don't think anyone's really complaining. I mean, I've heard complaints about the TIE Interceptor. I'm personally a huge fan of it. I think this is a really good free-to-play Conquest edition. For you guys saw all the reasons I laid out in that pretty big video that everyone was upset about. Basically, for a lot of players, you can't counter Executor no matter what you do. This at least opens the door to a conceptual way to two-shot the Executor for the 95% of players, who can't go out there and actually beat the Executor. And And of course, the people who get mad are the people who can counter Executor in either 1 or 2 shots, and they're saying, why would I do it less efficient? But obviously, when I make these videos, I have to talk to everyone, and everyone only views it from, where they are in the game. So broadly speaking, for most players, I think this is going to be a fantastic conquest ship, because it kind of marks the beginning of not the end for Executor, but just the beginning of it becoming just another character. Like when Jedi Knight Revan went from being untouchable to now Jedi Knight Revan is an important part of a roster and very good and especially dominant early game. Not so much as Darth Revan, but is nowhere near the heyday of Jedi Knight Revan when he first came out, where he was just absolutely destroying everything and it was unstoppable. So, and everything comes in cycles. Marquee characters have quicker cadence. Conquest characters have 1-year cadence. Galactic Legends tend to also have about, maybe 4 a year, 2 a year, 3, on average 3 a year, because it's been 2 years and we've had 6. So maybe every 8 months or something like that. So obviously the meta has, and they talk so much about the meta. Sorry for keeping rambling here. They talked for 11 paragraphs about the meta. So obviously the meta is something that they care about, or that they're interested in. And I guess this just sparks the beginning of, at least I believe, what they think to be the beginning of Executor leaving that Jedi Knight Revan day 1 drop where it's just completely unbeatable. And I think they're trying to transition the fleet meta away from being, one ship is the only thing that matters, which of course increases health of the game, especially because, they made their Executor money. They're millions of dollars on Executor money. I mean, Jesus Christ, they made a lot of money. And I think that's going to be good for the majority of the player base, obviously, because this is a pay-to-win game, or at least pay to not wait. But now with the new matchmaking system, it's literally pay-to-win. It's always going to be that cadence of, theoretically, when a top-end thing comes out, you're not going to be able to compete with it until they decide that ample time has passed, and now you guys are allowed to kind of enter the mix. So it's nice to see that kind of range is done for Executor. I'm excited. I'm eager to see what's next. So we got that leak, and everyone's saying Ravager. I don't see the Ravager really having a spot without more Sith ships. I get the leak, but... And everything was right on the leak, and I'm not going to say that this guy and his sources are correct or incorrect or anything like that. Because obviously, he basically said everything that happened, in the months following the big leak. But I don't know. Maybe if we get a Sith ship, I'll change my mind. But it just doesn't seem like the landscape is ready for a new capital ship. It just seems like that would be a big flop in terms of money for capital games. Because right now we're getting, the Inquisitor ship, which is going to slot in to Tarkin, or to Thrawn, which is going to take the Tarkin, C-tier Empire fleet out of the running. Mace, Tarkin are basically useless now. Mace has always been useless except for 1 day. So I just think it's not the right time to drop a capital ship. Maybe if we get a bunch of marquee or legendary Sith ships that are coming to the game. I don't know what those might be. I might change my tune on that, but I think that's how the game stands as currently constructed. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you, and I'll see you later.